If I allow this, what happens to the other kids?
Let's talk about transgenders.
Yeah, I think that
And
sort
you
of
worm your way out of this.
No, segues into it beautifully. So you can be Peranakan, you can be Chinese, you can be
let's
Indian,
talk
you
about
can be...
but transgenders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, multiracial to multisexual.
I mean, that's what we're supposed to be
Okay.
talking about, right?
No, tell us,
There was
because
a
this is-
protest.
yeah.
There was a protest held by 5 persons. 3 were arrested outside of the Ministry of Education without a proper police permit. Anyway, protests cannot happen anywhere else, right? They can only do it in Hong Lim Park.
Yes.
And that's also provided their permit gets approved.
Yes.
Now, apparently, there was already a warning being issued out that the protest will occur, right? And they did turn up. 2 decided to conform and leave because the police, security came, the building security came and told them to disperse. They refused. Then the cops came, told them to disperse. Otherwise, they will be arrested because
So
we're
given a
directing
lot of
you to
warnings.
leave now.
Yes.
They did not. And then obviously they were arrested. Now, the issue at hand is about
So they were protesting.
the transgender discrimination in Singapore schools, because this particular person, the affected person, wrote on Reddit and ranted on it, saying that's the person that really was affected by this.
They call him
Okay.
Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley. Now, Ashley said that he got bullied while in all boys primary school. He's always been confused about his sexuality. And eventually, long story cut short, he went to, he was taken.
Wait, hang on. Does he identify as a she?
Yes.
So we should use the pronoun she.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
then went to IMH to a gender clinic at IMH and got an official medical diagnosis based on what has been written up. This Ashley has written.
Yeah.
She said that she's suffering from gender dysphoria.
Dysphoria.
And this is formally actually diagnosed. Now, after that, I quote, my schooling life in the MOE system has gone from great to utter trash, pretty much forcing me to transfer from my current school to a polytechnic course, which is not really ideal and not exactly in line with what ambitions I had in mind. Gender dysphoria is listed as a disorder under gender identity disorders in the ICD-10 by the WHO, unquote. Now, what she is saying is that when she actually wanted to go for the hormone therapy, MOE came in and stopped the treatment. And the doctor that was attending to her had to pull out. And then initially what was mentioned here by Ashley was that they told her that this is something new. They will need to well, in lack of a better term, need to mull it over, okay? And then we'll get back to her about this. So she said that I was informed, okay, that she had to cut her hair to fit the boy's hairstyle in the handbook, the school handbook, and that she was specifically made to wear the male uniform. That could probably have slipped under the radar, but seems unlikely as all these troubles started the same month. In addition, if I became unable to fit, I quote, if I became unable to fit in the boy's uniform, if I somehow got hormone therapy, I would be expelled from school instead of being allowed to wear the female uniform.
How old is this, Ashley?
I don't know.
We don't know.
There's nothing
Okay.
here.
School.
So I
Hang
think
on. This is the next thing I want. This is the kicker here.
Okay.
She alleges that the principal's explanation for this was that, and she quoted him, was that due to your presentation, you would be as disruptive to the school environment as a student with severe autism.
Okay. Several things here. First of all, this was on Reddit and it was anonymous, right? So we have no, there's been no, backup or no further information about this. So I'm just always, I think that we always have to be just a little bit careful about things that are on the internet. Not saying that this is false or true or whatever it is. It's just that it is one person writing anonymously on Reddit, and Reddit is.
But hang on,
Reddit,
hang
right?
on. MOE responded.
Yes, MOE responded. Yes, and I think it's very important to read MOE's response as well. They're saying we're aware of the post that MOE interfered with the students' hormonal treatment. This is not true.
Not true,
And
yes.
they said basically that MOE and schools work closely and respect the professional advice given by
Wait,
the healthcare professionals.
In the Straits Times, the student who is in her second year of pre-university education, said she was set to undergo hormone therapy as part of a treatment, but was stopped from doing so after MOE intervened.
Yeah.
Right? Now, referring to the student, the male pronoun, the MOE said,
Yes.
we invite the student to approach the school to clarify and discuss how the school can support his schooling better.
Yeah.
Okay? So basically, it does seem that the way I read it, that this is not a fake story.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it's fake. I'm just saying that we don't know all of the details here. I think there are several points here to be made. It says here, in August, I went to see my doctor again as I had just turned 18. So originally, they were under 18, right? So they turned 18. And so he told me that MOE had called for a meeting with him, demanding he stop writing memos to the school, referring people and all of that. So I think that this is still up in the air as to what actually the situation is. One thing that we can either discuss the whole issue about Ashley, which I think we don't have enough information right now, or we can discuss the protest, although they are linked, basically.
I'd like to say something about
Yeah, sure.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay. Because in one of the... Okay, there are a couple of things here. You have a young person who's decided that, no, this is not the sex I want to be. And this whole situation is taking place when that person is going to transition the gender.
Yeah.
So to do that, in fact, Ashley has mentioned that he was supported by his teachers, by his parents, by his fellow friends.
Yeah.
And while this is going on, MOE comes into the picture, and please be mindful, MOE went to the doctor because they also found out that the doctor was distributing flyers to other, basically advertising for these hormone tablets.
Oh, really?
Now, what I see in all this, more importantly than MOE, is the fact that Ashley has already got so much support from the friends, from his teachers, from his parents, which very clearly shows the mindset of the Singaporeans changing. Now, when you come to MOE again, it's back to procedures. I think of a parent who is just has a normal kid going to school. We say normal, maybe it's a wrong word, but today you say anything it can be constituted as wrong. And I'm sure that the school has procedures like, no, you don't keep your hair long. Or no, if you want to be in this school, this is what you wear. Now, even if you want to change those procedures, again, there's time needed. I don't think anybody can just turn around and say, okay, one kid who is going through this, how are we going to allow this to just happen?
Is this a co-ed school to begin with, or is this an
It's a
all-board?
pre-university education.
So it's co-ed.
Co-ed,
Yes.
okay, all right.
So the point is, I think they've taken a correct stance. Come to the counselor. Let's talk. Because I also want to mention that there are so many cases now which are coming out in the open about sex change regret.
Yeah.
They're coming out about detransitioning.
I think that this is a very young age.
Yeah. So I think it's right to be a bit careful
No, there needs to
and
be
to
procedures.
be a bit
There needs to be
correct.
procedures.
We
I
are
do
back to
agree with that.
procedures.
I think there needs to be counseling. There needs to be procedures. I think there are a couple of things here I want to say. One is, I think it's very important that this person get all the counseling that she needs
Before
but
you make that
also,
final
once
decision.
the parents and her decide, then there needs to be a procedure put
To
in
follow.
place
Correct.
for her to follow. All right.
Correct.
The other thing is that I think an MOE needs to be much clearer in their communication as well, and also educate themselves about pronouns, and these things that have more sensitivity. And
Yeah.
we've talked about this before. I think that often the government departments
Yeah.
have a problem with
It
communication.
seems
No,
to be
but-
prevalent amongst most government departments.
But I would really say that the way society is changing so rapidly, so many of these terms, which are being
of
used
course.
and this.
But
so
the thing about this, and it's
we
important
have to
state
give them the
that
benefit.
sex change surgery has been legal in Singapore for decades.
I know.
You know,
I know,
In
I
fact,
have friends.
when many countries it was illegal, people would come here for
For this.
sex reassignment surgery.
Okay.
No, so it's not that anyone is against
Yeah.
that. Again, it's the procedure of the university or
No,
the
I think,
school
I
or
think
the,
bureaucracy,
Or the
the bureaucracy
department.
needs to really lighten up a little bit and know how to handle this new era.
Chris-
in terms of communication and how they,
Correct.
they
Communication,
manage
yes,
No,
this.
but
I
I
think
think
more-
procedure needs to be
yes.
there because you think about it as a very young person, and you cannot simply say that you can go ahead and just do this very quickly. Because even for adults, even in the West, they need to go through psychological
Correct,
counseling
counseling.
and
And-
vetting
and
and
I
all that
think-
before you're given this.
Correct. And it's not lighten up. I think they need to they will have to keep up with the times,
No,
which
you
are
know,
changing so fast.
I keep thinking to myself because of how this again is alleged of how this person Ashley had said the principal the principal had said it to her.
Sure, that's terrible. I think that's terrible.
You see, it starts from things like that. How does it hurt someone?
Sure.
How much pain this person's going through.
That is
however,
sensitivity counseling as well for
yeah.
educators.
But you know what I cannot stand about these 5 people who ended up in front of MOE. There are other ways to do things.
Yes. I agree.
I
think that kudos to you for caring.
How you think
But-
so?
yeah.
You don't think it's virtuous signaling?
But
I don't think they will put themselves into this kind of a trouble for that. I think they believe it, But there are definitely better ways of doing this. And the thing about it is that you may make the news by protesting, but how does it actually help your ultimate aim, Educating the public about transgenderism is much more important than holding up signs outside of MOE.
People, this is not America now, okay?
No,
You're not going to
and-
be storming Parliament House.
no, but oh God, no.
Exactly.
No, but
So
that's
don't
not
do
even
things
the
like
point.
this.
The point is when they behave in that manner, it comes across a bit as frivolous.
Yeah.
They've not gone through it. And that's precisely the point. Because you come back again and say, they're kids. And if kids are not counseled and they are not shown their choices and the effects and consequences of those choices, they might make wrong ones and live to regret it.
Yeah.
And that's where this detransitioning comes
Agree.
across. You see.
Agree. Because I think what this person on Facebook wrote about, Timothy Anand Weerasakara, made me think, He made a very good point. He said, may I humbly suggest an analogy? If a person is struggling with body dysmorphia and wants to starve themselves, the loving thing to do is to help them reconcile with biological standards of normalcy, not entertain the dysmorphia. He further says, if a person is depressive and suicidal, we carefully counsel them to appreciate their life, not egg them on to death. We don't entertain the suicidality.
I would not equate suicide and body dysmorphia with transgenderism. I think transgenderism is real and that people have a right to it, and it is very real. But I think that procedures need to be in place
Right.
to make sure that you get all of the counseling that you need, all of the care and all of that.
The
And then
decision.
after all of that, when you still decide to do it, fine.
Yeah, but there are
fine.
also quite significant numbers of cases of de-transformation
That's
too, isn't
that's
it?
it.
You see, this
No,
is
but-
what Daisy is saying, which I
Correct.
also agree. But
Yeah.
he's also saying, if you read further on, that there are significant. It's just quite worrying as well.
Which is why you don't then say no, you can't do it, and you don't say yes, you can.
Okay,
No,
the-
but
the
MOE
only-
never
needs to be
said,
on
no,
it.
you
Yeah.
can't do it.
Exactly.
They went to the doctor.
Yes.
So now
Now,
it's...
correct. So now the I think this whole issue here stems from this one thing, that formally diagnosed. She's been formally diagnosed as having this issue, right? And so therefore something should be done. And how can anyone come and stop this? Because it has been medically diagnosed.
just because it has been medically diagnosed does not mean that the person is ready for all of that. I think that because especially if you look at the age here, they just turned 18, right? So I think that doing all of the counselling and the processes are absolutely essential
Not necessary,
to lead
yes.
them.
But parental consent has been given.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but again,
she still belongs
Chris,
to her
nobody
parents.
is stopping her.
Yeah, no one's stopping her. That's the thing.
Nobody-
But just
You
she
see-
can't continue in school.
No, they are not.
No.
You see, it's different. I remember many years back when there was a discussion about how there were some young kids who wanted to wear the tudung to school. And I remember this discussion precisely because the school principal between the devil and the deep sea, where you're turning around and saying, if I allow this, what happens to the other kids? Because the exception doesn't prove the rule, you
So
see.
it starts a precedent.
So again, it's steps. I can imagine the principal there wringing her hands and wondering what to do. Because no, you don't want to stop her.
Like me
but
getting
at the
gastric
same
now.
time, you want to make sure that due process is
Absolutely,
carried
it's
out.
a very serious issue, and
Yeah.
there needs to be treated respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's wonderful, and we wish Ashley
All the best. Yes,
and the
yes.
principal and the parents, and I hope they all come out of it, without being too hurt.